Shalom, it's Rabbi Alex, and happy Kindness Day. Today is the Wednesday, November 13th, and it is the 65th anniversary of Kindness Day. And the symbol of kindness is Mr. Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. And look, I got my sweater. I told my wife that I don't have any cardigans because you're supposed to wear a cardigan today. But at least I wore my red sweater that sort of looks like a cardigan. Next time I'm out shopping, I'll have to go look for one. So this day is dedicated to simple acts of kindness, and we're thinking about Mr. Rogers, who's actually often in the news because a new movie is coming out with Tom Hanks in the central role as Mr. Rogers. Can you believe it? And he was really such a groundbreaker in children's TV. And in just the world. When I was a little boy, around the same age that Noam, my 6-year-old, is, I would just sit at the TV staring at him as he welcomed you into his neighborhood. And the whole point of the show was to make everyone feel at home. He actually would start the show by kind of settling into his house and welcoming you in as if he was the host and you were one of his guests. What a wonderful model. And it's perfect for this week's Torah portion, which is Parshat Vayerah, which has the very famous scene at the beginning with Abraham and Sarah welcoming the strangers. Abraham is sitting in the heat of the day, talking to God, when suddenly he spies 3 individuals walking towards him, and he immediately runs out to greet them and starts the food preparation and washes their feet. And of course, these strangers go on to help him by prophesizing that Sarah will give birth. This is a funny thing to Sarah because she's already an old woman at this point. But of course, it comes true, and we have the birth of Isaac. Here, we have a sense, both in Mr. Rogers and in this week's Torah portion, that opening your door and your tent as wide as possible is really such an important human quality. In addition to the 65th anniversary of Kindness Day, this was also this past weekend, November 9th, the 81st anniversary of Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, the pogrom against the Jewish community of Germany, is really an example of what happens when there isn't kindness in the world, when you close our door, when we lead people away as opposed to in. And the corollary to that is that 30 years ago, that great Berlin Wall that was built and survived and kept people from freedom for so many years came tumbling down on the same day as Kristallnacht. It's an irony that Germany can't really celebrate its independence on November 9th because it's such a terrible, horrific day as well. Both of these days, the birth of freedom in that country, and also this terrible onslaught of the Nazis, really one of the beginnings of all the terrible things that would come afterwards. But in that Berlin Wall, a year afterwards, an art gallery, if you remember, little pieces of the wall, and artists would paint it. They collected them, and they had an art gallery in Berlin. And in the front of it, they had an African saying. It said, "One small person in one small place doing many small activities can alter the state of the world." I think that's the perfect way to think about kindness and the importance of it in this world. So happy Kindness Day, good rest of your week, and until we meet again.